Well, a very good afternoon, and today is a special day, especially for mothers. Today I prepared a message called Honoring Parents is also honoring God. Honoring parents, the Bible is very explicit about honoring parents. If we have some knowledge about the Word of God, we know that among the 10 commandments that God has given to us, honoring parent is listed high among these 10 commandments. Out of the 10 commandments, the first four uh, refers to God, right? First commandment is there's only one God, and then we don't bow down to any other idols, etc. We don't take God's name in vain. We keep the Sabbath holy. And today is Sabbath. So the first four commandments deals with God. Then we come to the fifth commandment, to the 10th, that actually deals with man. Among all the commandments that deals with man, the first is honor your parent. Not the 8, not the 9, not the 10, but it has to be the first. That when man think about human, think about relationship, he thinks about the mothers and how the children, not only mothers, father and mother, sorry father, how children must relate to their parents. Don't you think it's wonderful? And not only that, very interestingly, out of the 10 commandments, there's no blessing. There's no blessing except when you honor your father and mother. So I think it makes this commandment very, very special. And God says that if we honor father and mother, then your life on earth will be long. Oh. Okay, all right. Now, if you look at Exodus 20, verse 12, it says, honor your father and mother, that your days may be prolonged in the land which the Lord your God gives you. John 19:26-27. When Jesus then saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved, that was John, standing nearby, he said to his mother, "Woman," by the way, when Jesus said women, does not mean that he's the disrespect. Today, you call your mother woman, your mother take the saw and saw you. But woman in the Hebrew context is a very endearing term, right? Very endearing term. So he said, "Women, behold your son." Now, obviously, he could not point. He was nailed on the cross, right? Probably he turned his head a bit or turned his eyes. I don't know. Then he said to his disciple, which is John, he said, "Behold your mother." From that hour, the disciple John took her into his own household. Now then we must ask this question. Why Jesus, asked John to take over, taking care of his mother? Remember that Jesus had younger brothers and sisters. Like we read about that in the Bible. They came, in fact, at one time they came and told Jesus, this and that, right? So Jesus had younger brothers and sisters. Then why Jesus asked John to take over? It's curious, right? I guess. The Bible never say anything. This is my holy imagination. This all sanctified imagination. So I believe it's this, okay? Look at the whole sequence of events and how Mary conceived Jesus. Now see, today we read the Holy Spirit came and then Mary was conceived. Now we can glorify that, but at that time they may crucify her. You see, it's a different context. And it's not easy for the people to accept. Not easy, I believe, even for his family to accept. Because the rest of the children, the siblings, they are really the biological children between Joseph and Mary, except Jesus. So Jesus is special in this family. And Mary is really the mother. It's through the womb that Jesus was birthed. And so I don't know whether that the younger siblings really honor Mary that much, or they would take care of Mary, and that Jesus believed that they would take care of Mary. If not, there is really it makes no sense at all for Jesus to entrust Mary to John's hand, right? It makes no sense. In fact, it will be insulting to the siblings. So there must be things that we do not know and that the Bible did not state. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. Already, that's not really the most important. The most important is when Christ was suffering. You see, when he was hanging on the cross, it was no fun, right? He's not going for a tour, no. No, he was about to die, and he is going through that excruciating pain. And imagine when a person is in that condition, what do we think? Normally, we think of our own comfort. We think how we can get out of this, predicament, etc., etc. And nothing wrong about that. But in spite of that tremendous suffering, and he thinks about what? His mother. His mother. He never forget the mother. Now, I think that is a fantastic example for us all. That Christ set this tremendous example. I wonder how many of us, let's say when we are in Jesus' shoe, and one day when we are in extremity, we still think about mother or we think about our wife. I don't know. I'm not testing you, right? And you don't give me an answer too. But Jesus thought about the mother. He set a good example for us, right? How he honors the mother. And I think that's fantastic. Our Lord showed us a wonderful example. Thirdly, now factors that tends to undermine honoring parents. What will actually deter us from honoring our parents? Well, firstly, it could be arrogant. What do we mean by arrogant? Now, many of our parents, at least our generation, right? They are now probably in their 90s. My mother if my mother is around, my mom should be in her 90s. And you say another generation, they're older than me. Maybe they are in their hundreds. And at that generation, during that generation, the ladies especially do not have opportunity to really go to school. Like many girls never have an opportunity to go to school. Because at that time, the mindset is like that. Girls are what? To be married out. So that time was like that. So what happened? Well, if you don't have education, today we know that there are a lot of things you may not know, knowledge-wise, exposure, experience, etc., etc., etc. You look at the children today. You see, after this service, you go out there and you look at the sofa, and they see some of this toddler. They take an iPad, and then they are only about three times the height of the iPad only, but they can handle the iPad. Oh, I said, Stalo Milo, eh? See, how much knowledge they know once they enter into the media world, into the computer world, right? And beside that, even for some of you ladies, in fact, many of you ladies, sisters, fortunately you go to school. You have a decent education. Or maybe some of you even have higher education. Some of you are even more educated than many men. So because you are educated, you have knowledge, you have exposure, etc. And so when you talk to a parent who has no education, some of us are quite proud, right? Mom, you know what? Today talk about cryptocurrency, right? Just now Richard used a big word. I was trying to find a dictionary. I can't even get the word yet. You see, big word. So parents, so sometimes because we think that we have more knowledge, we know things better. The mom tell you, Mom, you know about inflation? You use some technical jargon that your mom will be flawed. Your parents will be flawed. So sometimes it could be arrogant, right? It could be arrogant. And I hope that we will not do that. But in olden times, we view parents like they were immortals, right? The knowledge that the father or the mother possess, really awed us, right? How the dad, maybe the dad is skillful in this or a certain knowledge, etc. They are really our role model, our idol, right? But is it still today? I'm not sure. Right? Today, when we look at our parents, we still look at them and give them the kind of look, or we. When mother talk, the two children, you know what they say? Me. Secondly, about factors that tend to undermine honoring parents is alienation of one parent. Now, this is not the most ideal situation in a family. Maybe it refers to when this family has only one parent. Then you say that something has happened to the family, something unnecessary, and something really painful has happened to this marriage. And so you're left with one parent, right? Or because they're custodian, custody concern. And so some children are assigned to this parent, and then another, and maybe one or two more assigned to another. Or sometimes one will give all the children, to one parent, and then you have to take care, right? Now, in that kind of situation, now what happens? Sometimes, because there are already so much animosity, there are already so much hurt, and there are so much misunderstanding, etc. Love has turned into hatred, and there are a lot of hurt. And then, when every time, the other party's name is mentioned or things like that, you really make you boil up, right? You get angry. And then when you talk to the children, how do they deal with it? And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the church upstairs, okay? In this kind of situation, I've seen it. I'm sure you have seen it. Right? How one parent, especially the one with custodian, they will, raise the children. How they raise the children? Do they raise the children to honor the party who is no longer staying with them? Not that it will not happen, but I think it's difficult sometimes, right? Many of the time it's difficult. And many of the time it's worse. They will teach them, you're so and so on. Next time you grow up, don't be like him, Right? At least you say that, right? No, please at least don't say that. So see, sometimes the input, the idea, the input is not exactly very healthy. And you think that this child or these children, when they grow up, they will respect the former husband or former wife. But it's still their father and mother, remember? Although the marriage has dissolved, the legal connection, the legal, status has been settled. A divorce can settle the legal status. But a divorce cannot settle the bloodline between the son and the daughter and the son and the father, or the mother and the daughter and the mother and the son, right? It can never. Even you publish in a newspaper, you still cannot dissolve that relationship, right? Once a son is always a son. Once a daughter is always a daughter. Once a mother is always a mother. Or a father is the same. Now you think about that. So I hope that, and in the event that there are such situation, that we will remember that to teach our children to honor their really biological parent. I think that's important. It's important because if we do not, then one day I think what goes around will come around. Okay, what goes around comes around. It will come back like a boomerang. And so I hope that they will not teach their parent or their children to disrespect, or even worse still, to hate their ex-spouse. So our failed relationship must not also become one of the reasons for our children to disrespect their biological father or mother. I know it's hard. Emotionally, it may be difficult. But I think if you look at this in a very sensible and a logical way, then I believe that we can gather and master all our courage and do the right thing. And I believe that it will honor God, and God will honor you. Thirdly, avoiding responsibility. It's very interesting in the Bible. It's recorded in the Gospel. How they avoid responsibility. That they do not want to honor their parents, so they find a wonderful way. Now, I'm sharing with you, I'm not teaching you. It's found in the Bible. Found in Mark chapter 7, verse 8 and 13 to 13. Can someone... it's still not working. Nobody there? Oh, is there already? Okay, Mark 7, 8 to 13 says, neglecting the commandment of God, you hold to the tradition of men. That's Jesus' words. He was also saying to them, you are expert in setting aside the commandment of God in order to keep your tradition. So there was a tussle. God's commandment and human tradition. The tradition of the elders. Now, during Jesus' time, there were a lot of tradition of the elders. See, the tradition of the elders are not law, Bible, what law God did not prescribe. See, the Jews are all very kiasu, They are very kiasu. They're scared that, they are afraid that people will break the law. So what they do, they kind of push the limit back a bit so that they not transgress, you see. So it's like, I observed this very interesting phenomenon. When you buy a new book, especially school textbook, there is hardcover, right? When you purchase a school textbook with hardcover, now normally the hardcover comes with a jacket, right? There's a jacket that covers the hardcover. Now, what is the purpose of the jacket? The jacket is to protect the hardcover. And then obviously the jacket has some advertisement and then the author and some write-up, blah, 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 and colorful. So you have the jacket to protect the hardcover. The hardcover is to protect the content, right? And then, you know what we do? We buy another plastic to protect the jacket. Right? We wrap plastic over the jacket. So you see, so we are having too many layers of protection, right? So you see, the Jew did that. They have the tradition of the elder is like the plastic that covers, protect the jacket. Something like this. So these are all the tradition of men. And what did they do? You read further, you will be amazed. For Moses said, honor your father and your mother. And he who speaks evil of father or mother is to put to death. Now, in this case, Jesus said, Moses said. I think Jesus is referring to the law of Moses. But we all know that it is God who gave the 10 Commandments. Right? So sometimes people also divide, Moses said, God said. I'm going to tell you this, that what God said, what Moses said, all said the same thing. So we don't try to be technical and say, this is Moses said, this is not what God said. So they are all wrapped up in one. But you say, if a man say to his father or his mother, whatever I have that would help you is korban. That is to say, given to God. You no longer permit him to do anything for his father or his mother, thus invalidating the word of God by your tradition, which you have handed down. And you do many things such as this. So you see, some of the Jews then, they have perhaps houses, and they want to avoid responsibility. So what did they do? They said, oh, this house is Koban. It's given to God. And so what is assigned to God? And not that literally transfer all the title, no. It is that in name is given to God, and so now the parent cannot even stay there. This is what it says here. So they were avoiding the responsibility by doing this kind of thing. And the Bible here says this. And you do many things such as this. It's not, thank goodness. Not say thank goodness. It should have written out all the others. But we don't know now. So there are many more things that they did that were dishonoring. They were trying to avoid. So, you see, avoiding responsibility is one way that dishonor parents. And Jesus mentioned this. And Jesus is telling, don't use korban, everything korban. Now, in our situation, how can we apply it in our life? Today, I'm not talking about you. Remember, I'm talking about the church downstairs. Huh? Oh, no more downstairs already. Okay, then upstairs again. Now, today, just now, Brother Richard just announced about tithing, right? No, tithing. Right? Tithing is you give to God, right? So you already give 10% to God, right? So you left with 90% to operate, right? And your friends who are non-Christian, they operate 100%, right? You already at the discount already, operating 90%, right? And then now your mother or father asks you some money. You say, I got no more money because I given to God already. No, I heard such thing before. Because they have given tithe. And so they got no more money to even support their parents. It's a very sad thing. It's a very sad thing. And then to them, it sounded so good. I love God. I give to the Lord. Then how about the parent? So you see, you look at this and what Jesus mentioned, the korban, not much different, right? There's certain similarity. So I hope that none really in Petra, none will be like this, including those who are hearing online. That we will not go around, and try to avoid, So they are simply hiding behind religion to avoid taking care of their parents. And that is really not pleasing in the eyes of God. Fourthly, now, children honor parents because of their position. There's not much other reason you will ask. Why must we honor our parents? Really, it boils down to nothing much than parents being parents, period. You don't have to be any other reason. They're simply our parents, period. We honor them because they are our parents, and not because they are perfect. See, we don't have to find a reason to honor them. Say, oh, if they are perfect, then we honor them. If we are that, then we honor. If they are not, then we will not. No. We honor parents in spite of their flaws. There are no perfect parents. Who dare to say that you are a perfect parent? Please put up your hand. Is it even me? They're not. No one. I know I'm not a perfect parent. I'm not, far from it. My wife is sitting down there. Please don't go and talk to her. Then you know all the flaws. I'm not a perfect father. And I believe that none of us is perfect too. You are trying your best, and I'm trying my best, I believe, right? But there's no perfection. And not because they are perfect, then we honor them. And if they are not perfect, then, right? No. We honor them just because they are our parents, not because they are perfect. God did not command us, in the fifth commandment, honor good father and mother. Right? God could add another adjective, good. No? God just say parents, father, mother. Simply because they are our parents. Now, secondly, parents can do wrong. Right? Parents can do wrong. I did my fair share, Did I do wrong? Oh yes, I did wrong. I remember one time my son, he was mischievous. He did something, really make me very, very mad. I took him up, then I throw him down on the mattress. You think that mattress is very soft, but actually it's very dangerous, After thought, it's very dangerous because you take a child up and then and I did not just give him a soft landing, like not soft landing, like, I give him like that, I was so angry, by the way, I can get angry, okay? But then I thought through, you throw the child down, the child is young, and the spinal cord, can get. It's like when you drive a car, in a car accident, you have what you call that? Oh, whiplash, like whiplash. You can have whiplash. You can dislocate your spinal cord. It's very dangerous, See, but at that time I was so angry. I never thought about that. So you see, even pastor can get very stupid. You see, and good parent? No. Perfect? No. And I think at that point I didn't do right. Right? And that is only one incident. Probably there are other incidents. In fact, I remember one time I apologized to my son. So obviously I've done wrong. Right? I apologized to him. So you see, but I still expect him to honor me, okay? I'm not perfect. I can do wrong. Who will not do wrong? You know something? In the Bible, there are also examples. In 1 Samuel 19, 1-7, now Saul told Jonathan his son and all his servants to put David to death. But Jonathan, Saul's son, greatly delighted in David. So Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father, is seeking to put you to death. Now, therefore, please be on guard in the morning and stay in a secret place and hide yourself. I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, and I will speak with my father about you. If I find out anything, then I will tell you. Then Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father and said to him, do not let the king sin against his servant David, since he has not sinned against you. See, David has not done anything wrong. And since his deed had been what? Have been very beneficial to you. See, David defeated the Philistine. He saved, delivered Israel. Even Saul was so afraid to go out and meet Goliath. And by the way, Saul is not a short man, Saul is about 5, maybe 6 foot, But Goliath is about 9. So 6 foot, 9 foot, you're still a very short man. But then David, maybe about 5 feet tall. They're about all. But David defeated Goliath. And that is a great story we all know. And David and Jonathan reminded the father, David had not done anything wrong. But Saul just wanted him dead. Therefore, you can see that the father, in this case, just wanted to do something that is ridiculous, that is not lawful, that is not even, normal. And the son complied. Honoring parent, you obey everything the father said? No, the son did not. The son did not. Because in this case, Saul was doing something extremely bad. And the son did not even agree with him. Then Jonathan called David, and Jonathan told him all these words. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence as formerly. So he managed to salvage the situation. So you see, parents may not be perfect. So we can expect that. Don't look for perfect parents. Right? Don't look for perfect parents. And in time past, you say it's something that hurt you. Now, I know that some children, because of what the parents had done in time past, and they're still bearing the grudges and still bearing the hurt, and they have not gotten over it yet. Right? So I think it's good that allow God grace. If God's grace has reached our heart to deliver us, I think the same grace we can extend it to our parents. And if you want to share the love of God, the so-called the gospel to your parents, I think this is one thing that it may be the first step to do all this. Because if we cannot let it go, then we will never be strong enough even to want to share with them the love of God. You just simply cannot. You simply cannot, right? So I want to encourage those, especially if for whatever reason, parents has done something that, they are not good, that is wrong, that you learn to forgive parents. Fifthly, warning and consequences in the Bible for dishonoring parents. Now, there are many verses. I will share you just one verse will do. Right? In Leviticus chapter 20, verse 9, it says this. Anyone who curses his father or mother is to be put to death by stoning, because they have cursed their father or mother. Their blood will be on their own head. See, the Bible took it very seriously. How children dishonor their parents, how they curse their parents. Now, see, curse is something that is actually, you may not know the spiritual significance. Our words have creative powers. Our word have creative power. The Bible says, life and death hung between, words and in between our tongue. So when we, even for parents, when parents curse children, you may think that, it's just words. No, more than words, because there are spiritual significance when curse words are uttered. And sometimes parents may not know, right? Especially those who have not experienced the love of God. I heard this, when I was staying in the kampong, how mother will curse their daughter, and they use some of those terms that is not appropriate even to mention it in this pulpit, right? And they think that this is over. No, first you enter into the whoever the daughter's heart, I think it will stay there for a long time. Secondly, it may also bear some spiritual fruits because of the curse words. Right? So you ask them, go and die. Then they really die for you to see. Right? You think nothing. Well, because the devil can use those and also work around it. So see, word has creative power. God created the world by what? By his words. And so we are built in the image of God. Right? We are created in the image of God. And therefore we share that, in the words wise, we have that creative power too. How words can encourage people, how words can damage or destroy people. We all know it too well, right? To a certain degree. Although I cannot speak an apple into existence, but I can speak an apple into this existence. Right? Eat it, then someone eat it. So word has power. So the Bible says, don't curse your parents. See, we curse our parents, then what happened? Now, obviously today, unlikely, I hope that none of us really curse our parents. And sometimes parents, especially when they are not young anymore. When you are young, parents take care of children. When children grows up and parents become old, the old parents sometimes become old children. Right, wrong? Old parents become old children. Because of sinner, sometimes it becomes sinner. Right? And my age is, I better don't condemn myself with my own words. And you reach a certain age, you can become sinner, right? And you act like a baby, You act like children, So at that point, the children have to, when they take care of their parents, they're actually taking care of old children, old babies, right? Because they are forgetful, they have eaten, and then they still complain to your sibling and say that you never fed her. It's very frustrating. And then, you do all kind of things, then they forgot. They behave exactly like a baby. How to honor them? How to love them? Think about it. But the Bible says, still love them, still honor them. And then the challenge is here, right? The challenge is now on. It's not simple. So at that time, because they are all baby, so you discipline them? Please not. But I tell you one incident. I share this not to, I have a good friend. His father became, senile. Actually, he has some dementia kind of thing. So he would go out his house and do not know how to come back home. Because those days they don't have a, what you call a card, and put on there, Colin Wong, dementia. Live in where, telephone number, please contact, so and so. Those days they have not, invented this yet or what. So he went missing. So my friend, obviously he's concerned, and he went everywhere to look for father. Possible places, went and look and could not. Finally, the father came home, right? And he got so angry, he gave his father a slap, Obviously, I heard this from him, Now, there's no way I can know. When I heard that, actually, I got very shocked. I got very, very shocked, But then, I think on the other hand, as a son, I think he gone through certain things that it's easy for me to, got shocked lah. But he got greater shock when his father could not be found. The kind of emotion, sometimes our concern can turn into anger, right? Concern can turn into anger. And so I believe, but I don't condone that. I think that is really something that you don't do. Don't do, please don't do. Right? So please don't do that. Because the Bible is very clear about, certain things that when children are not displaying, the honor they should give to their parents. So let's be warned. Number 6. Ways to honoring parents. Right? I'll share with you a few ways. I believe we all know them. Let me just act as a reminder to reiterate. 1, speak well of them. Speak well of them. Now, parents are our parents, so speak well of them. See, when I actually do marriage counseling, I always told the couple that's intending to get married. I say in public, please don't talk bad about your wife. In public, please don't talk bad about your husband. This is the first rule. Never talk bad about your wife. Never talk bad about your husband in public. You think you're very, my husband, you think you're a hero. You go back, you become zero, I tell you. Right? You don't go and wash all the dirty linen in public. See, the same with parents. Right? We don't talk bad about our parents in public. Because if you dishonor your parent that way, then it's not going to be helpful. Now, I'm not saying that they are perfect. I'm not saying that, you this or no. It's just that if you have nothing good to say, just don't say. Can don't say. So that will solve your problem. See, now, so speak well of that. Instead, speak well of your parents. See, when you speak well of your parent, you are speaking well of yourself. Is it not true? See, when I think about my mom, really. See, my mom was widowed at age 37. Widowed at age 37. 6 children, biological, and 1 adopted daughter, 7. Single-handedly raised up. And I went through hard time. So I know the value of money. You say I love money, it's an understatement. You don't, man? You don't laugh at me like that. Like I'm very sinful. No, I know the value of money. Because I don't have. I struggle. We struggle. But my mother single-handedly raised up. Never married. And no, it's not easy to be widowed, at that young age and have 6. And those days are not like now, The economy is different, My mother ever brought me, I was a young toddler. I was just a toddler, about 4 years old and 5. I went to pick coffee seed, coffee seed those days. Just now I saw the 1 degree coffee. I was so amused. 1 degree coffee. Last time I picked those 0 degree coffee. I was a toddler. They had to haul me up the lorry, And then we go all the way to Changi. There's a factory, coffee factory. And then they pour out garni sack of coffee beans. And then there are white and brown beans. And then we have to separate the white and brown. And those days they don't have machine. Can check white, brown, red. No, don't have. I'm the one. Sitting beside my mom. And then we my mom brought me, and then we were doing this, how hard life was. But but then you see, my mom is a great lady. She may not have built the Great Wall of China. You don't have to build the Great Wall of China to be a great lady, by the way. They have done something that, in your life you can remember how they have sacrificed, what they have done for us, right? See, there are some good things about our parents, right? So talk about the good things, right? The bad things, don't talk. Because the more you talk, the uglier you get, actually. Right? So you have no good thing to talk, don't talk. Right? First rule. Secondly, appreciate them. Appreciate them. Help around the house. If you are a child, right? In the house, you help around or not. My mother at one time also scold me. Not only me, including my sibling. You treat my house like not toilet. Treat my house like hotel. And the share in Cantonese is very interesting. Mo yim gai long. Means this chicken coop, no door one. You feel like you come in, you go out. Eh? Oh, so you learn to take care of your home, come and help, chip in, right? Whether to clean this or clean that, wash the toilet, things that they cannot do. They are climbing up. Please tell them, you please don't climb. I will do the climbing. Can or not? Do something for them. Let them know that you understand what they have done for you, right? And then share fond memories about them. You think that you sit down with your mother or father and then hold his hand or her hand and just say, "Hey, Dad, you know something? When I was young, we did this, Oh, I tell you, better than give him $10,000. But after telling a story, still give him $10,000. Don't you think it's very heartwarming? Very heartwarming, right? So share memory with them, appreciate them, and be patient with their story. When you are older, how come this thing does not work? Not honoring the speaker. Be patient with their story. When you are old, you got a lot of story to tell, right? Especially the pastor. I got a lot of story to tell. I pity my grandson. Next time. Right? Now already they cannot tahan me already. You say every time you say, you say a lot of things. That's my habit. Cannot, Why? My habit. So they have a lot of story to tell. And sometimes they tell you the story not one time, but 2 times, 3 times. So, but we still be patient, right? Still at least. But I teach you one way to prevent them from telling 100 times. When they start to tell, then you continue the story and end the story also. Then when you do that, they know that you know the story, so no need to tell you this story. Right? I mean, don't know that. Hey, mom, shut up lah. I heard this 100 times. Hey, don't say that lah, for goodness sake. Why say that? Right? No need to say that one. Just continue the story. Mom, I know. Then this happened, right? Mom, that thing. Then she said, how come you know? You told me many times. You see, the act of listening is going to affirm and encourage them. And in fact, this perhaps is my witness. I'm not a good listener. I'm a good talker. Okay? I'm not a good listener. Right? And so we have to learn to listen. Learn to listen. Really. Right? So if we know our weaknesses, then what do we do with it? And sometimes by being there and just listening, you actually provide them, something more comforting than sometimes money or anything else. Your very presence is very comforting. See, why sometimes we need to go back and visit? For what purpose? Every week also need to see one another. Oh, your presence make a lot of difference. My presence make a lot of difference. Fourthly, update your situation. Update your situation. See, a surprising number of people, adult children, their parents do not know much about what is going on in their life, whether they have changed job or this or that. They don't know, because adult children, they have their own life, right, to run. So you need to update your parents. Your change of jobs. You relocate. Maybe you're overseas, your parent is in another country, and then you relocate where you stay, etc., etc. So do you update your parents? And always stay connected, right? And today someone said that the world is a global village, only one iPhone away, right? So one phone call, and in fact you FaceTime, right? FaceTime is don't need even trunk call. FaceTime can see already, right? So do update your parents, your situation. Fifthly, your wellness is their joy. Do you know that? Do not think that out of sight, out of mind. It's not true. See, no matter how things work out for your parents, they want to see you happy. Is it not true? You see, every parent's desire is to see their children do well, happy, healthy, right? What else do you want? This is what parents desire. And they are concerned about your emotional well-being too. You see, if you go back home and then you like that, first thing, listen to my message last week. Oh, listen to my last week message, how to get out of depression. Right? You sit down there and sound like that. Ma ask you to eat. Want to drink coffee. You think your mom is going to be very happy? I think your mom will be concerned, right? Very concerned, right? Worry sick, right? So your well-being is actually, is also to help them. Because it pains them to see us sad, see the children sad and troubled, really. Sixthly, don't let them worry about you, right? About your what? Your finance, whether you do well. Now, if you do well, they are not worried. Only if you don't do well, then they are worried. Right? But if you do well and you're not helping them, they're also worried. Now, this is fact of life. Your marriage, if you are married, how your relationship with your wife, with your in-laws, your children. If you are not married, you have a relationship, they are also concerned whether, this grape tree will bear grapes. And this vine will bear grapes. 修成正果. Right? Whether you have a good ending. Your career, your business, etc. And so your health. And then lastly, care and support them. See, some parents are well off, so just now I mentioned they don't need your money, but they do need your presence. They need you to be concerned about them. And look out for their health issue. Right? Look out for their health issue. I remember when my father-in-law, one day he was sick. And he was lying on the bed. And my daughter was very young. And I think we came to visit. Then my daughter went to the bedside of the grandfather and then hold the grandfather's hand. And then in Cantonese, Gong Gong, because the daughter's son. So called Gong Gong, how are you? Wow, the grandfather heart melt. Next time, what you want? You want pager? She got a pager before I had one. No. By the courtesy of my father-in-law. See, when you have the right touch, even stone will melt. No. So sometimes it works wonder. Okay, look out for the health issue, right? And especially if parents are single. When your parents are now, when one of your parents is no longer around, right? And then left with another one. I tell you, that's the time where your parents become very, very vulnerable. Sometimes they got a thing to think of. Sometimes they pine. Sometimes they feel sad. Sometimes they worry. Sometimes they may even sob and cry. You don't know. And that's the time they're very lonely. And that's the time that you and I had to be very, very sensitive about their needs. Right? Sometimes we say, outside our mind. And visit them regularly and comfort them. I think that if we cannot do all this, then we will be able to bring some joy, comfort to all our parents.